What it do, internet? David Baugh here, and today is vlog number 83. And you know, with all this shit going on in the news and all the craziness with the coronavirus, I figured now was a good time to go over the 14 movies you should watch while you're under quarantine. Now, I tried to stay away from a bunch of series of movies. Obviously, you could watch like all of the Lord of the Rings movies, all of the Friday the 13th movies. If you're just trying to fill time, go with that. But I wanted to do movies that were going to sort of get your mind off of it and, you know, give you a little bit of an out. And I tried to pick some of the better movies that I could find. Number 1, The Thing. This is a fantastic movie. It's done in '82. It's just spectacular. It's a bunch of people, they're trapped in a research facility and they're being attacked by this thing and they have to figure out what it is and who it is. There's a lot of really, really wonderful special effects. I think it's really going to hit home for a lot of you guys. Number 2, Predestination. Now this movie is going to blow your fucking minds. It's not really a Contagion or a virus movie, but, you know, and it's not people getting sick or possessed like some of the others on this list. But goddamn, it's gonna get your mind off of things for a little bit of time because you are not gonna be able to tell what's happening next. Absolutely worth the watch. Perfume, the story of a murderer. Now, this movie is about a murderer with a wonderful sense of smell who is killing a bunch of virgins and capturing their scent and then making his own perfume that people will like. It's got one of the largest orgy scenes ever committed to film, and it is just a wonderful movie. It's got Alan Rickman, Dustin Hoffman. The production design is fantastic. Definitely check that one out. Rear Window. It's a movie about a guy who starts spying on his neighbor who's in an apartment. They actually had to build a giant set. They had to take out a few floors at, I believe it's Warner Brothers studio where it was shot. Jimmy Stewart gives a wonderful performance. If you haven't seen this movie, you've probably seen some sort of parody of the movie. It's a very great storyline, and I think it's appropriate for the times that we're in right now. Alien. One of the best special effects movies of all time. The Alien is probably gotta be one of my favorite bad guys ever. It's just completely impossible. It creates more of itself by infecting you with it and then bursting out of your chest. That thing turns into a much larger alien very, very quickly, and if you cut it, then it'll burn through the hull of the spaceship. So it is an absolute classic. I would absolutely recommend watching every one of them. They're all pretty excellent, but you know, definitely earns its place on the list. The Shining. It had to make it on the list, ladies and gentlemen. I got the carpet. Like, you have to have it. It's a staple. A man goes to a hotel and is tasked with keeping it, but in his isolation, he ends up going completely insane and tries to murder his family. If that doesn't say Contagion or coronavirus, I don't know what will, right? Now, the really obvious choice for a movie while you're quarantined, it's gonna have to be Quarantine, right? I mean, what list about movies on a quarantine is gonna be popular if you don't have quarantine on it? That being said, if you are feeling adventurous, it is based on the original Recuerde in Spanish. It does have subtitles. It does have Dexter's sister on it, so, you know, not necessarily the end of the world if you're watching the remake. There are a slew of them. Definitely worth the time. The Exorcist, because why not soothe some of your projectile vomiting with a little bit more projectile vomiting. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's everyone's movie of choice when it comes to possession or things taking you over. Shot largely in the one location. Great little bit of horror. That movie's supposed to even be cursed, right? Which is always fun. Except for the people that are cursed. Invasion of the Body Snatchers. This is a fantastic movie. People start getting captured and invaded, and their bodies get snatched, and they turn into these awful, weird creatures in these pods. You should also note that I'm talking about the one with Jeff Goldblum and Donald Sutherland, because that's always the one I'm talking about when I'm referring to that movie. There are a bunch of others under the same sort of names. There's Invasion that had like Nicole Kidman and a few others, but come on, guys. The one with Jeff Goldblum and Donald Sutherland. Check the fuck out. Cabin Fever, the original one with Ryder Strong. It's about a bunch of kids that go into a cabin in the middle of the woods, and they end up with this flesh-eating virus. That scene where that bitch is shaving her legs and all the skin comes off. Eli Roth did a wonderful job with that movie, and he absolutely deserved all that he got for it. It was spectacular. The other ones, they're okay. They get progressively worse, and then that remake, just don't even bother. It's basically shot for the original, but worse. You gotta go with the original. It's just a masterpiece. If we're talking about movies to watch while you're on quarantine, I would be remiss not to mention Contagion. That movie was pretty spectacular. It's got a lot of things that a lot of people are dealing with right now, and it's pretty appropriate for the list that it's on. I feel like it definitely deserves its place. If you didn't like it, then sue me. Go ahead. World War Z, because if you're gonna have a pandemic, it might as well be fucking zombies, ladies and gentlemen. And this one is pretty good. It's got Brad Pitt in it. There are a fuckload of zombies. They're going all over the world. Shit's happening. Zombies are afoot. Things are going on. So, Ponty Pool. It's a movie about a guy that is stuck as a radio DJ while there is a weird sort of pandemic thing happening. People are out in the streets and they're going crazy, and people keep calling in and they're more and more infected. And the virus spreads while he is left manning the airways. It's surprisingly good. It was shot on a very low budget, but it really delivers. Now, the last movie on the list, through no fault of its own, is going to have to be Splinter. Now, this is a movie about some people that get caught in a gas station, and there's this weird splintery virus thing that gets in their bodies and then starts controlling their movement in weird and varied ways, and then tries to spread about throughout the society. Real fucked up movie. Really, really well done. Definitely one of my favorites, and absolutely earns its spot on the list. But hopefully these movies help. I always love movies because they let you escape to a different world. If you're stuck in quarantine and you're just looking to pass the time, I think these movies are going to be a great place to start. But that's what I had for you guys. It was a pleasure as always, and you have a wonderful evening.